Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Off-Axis Builds. Today we're going to be putting in the 4 lines underneath the car. I got the gas, the clutch, the brake, and the air line to install. The reason why I'm going underneath is because I want to hide the airline, or hide all those lines. I don't really want to dig into the tunnel, figure out a way to attach it in there, so I'm going to put it all underneath the car. It's going to be nice and clean. I'm going to be putting some covers over it so it'll be protected. I'm not too worried about that. And that's the reason why we made that press in the last video. So, or adjusted that press, I should say. So we're gonna be using that guy on this project. It's gonna be a fun little project. Let's go ahead and get the car off the ground. I'm gonna probably lift it up about a foot or two, as high as the jacks will allow me, so I can crawl underneath there and work comfortably. I will make sure that it's stable and all that, so not to worry on that. But let's go ahead and get the rear end jacked up, put the 2 jack stands underneath there, and then get the front off the ground as well. All right. Alright guys, so I didn't show you all the prep work on this. I'm still going to need to drill a few more holes into these 2 pieces, but I got most of the prep work done. What I'm going to be doing with these holes here, all the way down, I'm going to be doing dimple dies. So I'm going to do 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 dimple die, 2 inch, and then 1.5 inches, okay? But I don't want to do that until I lay out these holes on these 2 pieces. Okay, this piece right here and this piece right here. Okay, so I've already laid out where I'm going to do the bend. This is an approximate cut that's going to go underneath the car. I still have to take a look at that and see if that's going to be the right spot. But as far as the bend goes, that's correct. As far as the layout of this piece on top, that's correct. So this is a 3-piece system I'm putting underneath there just to protect everything under there and kind of give a little detail. So with these dimple dies, you're actually going to be able to see down to this, which I'm going to paint red, okay? I'm going to do the blackish red on out here and a nice bright red stripe down the whole center that you'll see when you look down these holes. Obviously, you probably won't be looking down it because it's under the car and the car is so low, but I'll know it's there. So let's go ahead and get these 2 clamped together. Okay, and I'll flip this over and show you what I'm doing with it. I just did these little notches just to kind of give a little detail. Wasn't any reason particular. And then this notch is actually going to be going down towards the front of the car. This little hole, when it's open, after I bend it, that's where the 2 lines are going to come from. The hood underneath, and then they'll come on under here and then follow the whole line back. So let's go ahead and get these 2 clamped. Okay, so at this point, I'm just going to drill straight through. Not even going to bother trying to mark it and take it off and drill. I'm just going to go right through these other holes. Be done. Okay, so those will be all marked. The nice thing is I have these two pieces will be supported enough with this one here and then this one over here, so I'm not too worried about that. And then obviously this will be attached to the car. So let's go ahead and get to drilling, and then I can get to drilling, drilling these holes and dimple dyeing it. And then I'm at the point where I can start bending. However, I want to bend these, and then I'm going to test fit this underneath to figure out if this is the correct spot to cut it. And then if it is, I'll bend it and then cut it. Or, sorry, backwards. I'll cut it and then bend it. One thing to note, when you're doing bends like this, where you're going to come across on this one, you won't be able to bend this one. So it's best to lay it out the proper way and bend the correct one first, okay? So you have to kind of think about, if I bend this, is it going to interfere with that one? Because obviously I'm bending straight, so as soon as I come here, it's going to interfere on the press, and I'll show you later what I'm talking about, okay? But I'm not going to worry about that now. Right now I'm just going to get these things drilled and then ready to mount together. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes all the way down this center piece with a 1/4-20. The reason why I'm doing that is so I can have threads on this, and then I can just put a screw right on in and not have to worry about putting a nut on the back side. So let's go ahead and drill these out. Now that I got all those holes drilled and tapped, just gotta pull this guy off and then drill these guys out and put the dimple dies on them, and then bend these, put it up underneath the car and mark out where I'm mounting it and screw it on. So let's go ahead and tear this thing down and get this ready for drilling. Alright guys, so when you're doing your dimple dies, it's important to note which way you want the curve to go, okay? So in this case, I have the curve going down. So if I were to put this in like this, it's gonna follow that and actually go down. The reason why I say go down is because this is actually getting mounted like this, okay? So it'll be nice fresh. The bends will go down towards this thing, okay? So, these things are really cool and easy to use, as long as you have the right wrenches. I don't think I got the right ones out. Alright guys, so now that I have this all laid out where I'm going to bend it, we're going to put it in the press and get the thing bent. Okay, so now these tabs on the sides are going to be 45 degrees, and that front one's going to be roughly about 10 degrees. What I'm going to use, you guys have seen me use this in the past, it's just a little rotating protractor. Okay, so when I bend it, I can put it on and it'll actually show the angle that I want to go to. So I can mark this if I want 45, I want 10, put it anywhere I want, and then I'll just bend to the point where this lines up. And then we'll double check after I release the press, because after you release the press, generally your angle goes back down a little bit. So let's go ahead and get you guys set up on the pedestal and get the metal in there and start bending it. Okay, so I got this in the press. Got it lined up with the black line. I'm going to measure from this piece here out to here, make sure I'm square. Okay, I'm bending that at 1.5 inches in. Okay, so I'm going to need 10.5 inches from this to the point. So we're going to go ahead and take that measurement and make sure it's all squared and ready to go. Let's see, right there. So 10.5. Good there. Good there. Just double check up here, make sure we're good. Yep. Okay, so actually we're not good. I'm going to slide it down to make sure I bend these two tabs first, and then I'll bend that last one. Alright guys, so those angles line up nice. I'm pretty happy with how that lines up. So now I just got to take, like I said before, got to rip that and then take this all the way down on both sides. So let's go ahead and get those things cut. Alright guys, so now that I have it positioned somewhat in the location that I want, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that these holes right here all the way down don't line up with anything up top. Okay, so I can still get a nut on top of them. I may do a nut, I may do just a like a socket head cap screw coming down into the spacer. I haven't quite decided on that yet, but in either way, I need to make sure that I miss these holes for the floorboard and that all these holes miss the framing up above so I can still attach something. So let me go ahead and double check all that, and then I'm going to drill through here, and then I'll remove this and start running all of the lines. All right, guys. All right, guys, so I went ahead and drilled these 2 holes through. I got that mounted, moved the jack forward so I could start in on these holes. The reason why I did these 2, they were closest to the jack at the time, is because when I started to drill these, this whole plate was just twisting on me. So I figured I'd get these 2 mounted, and then I'm going to work to get these 2 mounted, and then I shouldn't have to have the jack anymore, but I may still use it to go ahead and continue on the rest of them, and then also the one up front. So let's go ahead and get these 2 holes drilled, and then I'll pull this off again. It's going to be a lot of putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off type thing, because I need to put these in and then take it off, and then I'll put these in, drill those, take it off, and just gonna so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get those drilled. Alright guys, so it's coming on really nicely. I'm able to get the bolts in, no problem. Coming into a little issue up here though. I think I'm going to notch it around that little frame piece right there. I'm going to just take a little notch out of the aluminum so it sits a little tighter against here. And yeah, and then we'll just go ahead and get all that closed up. And I'll come back to here and continue drilling those holes in all the way back. So let's go ahead and get this thing marked. So it's roughly about a ½ inch. I went to the furthest point on that because it actually tapers out to the frame. So be right about there to there, and then I'll just come over about something like that on both sides. So we'll just go and get that notched. There's a hole there already. How about over here? Okay. Well, that's not going to work. These 2 holes line up with the 2 drain holes. Don't know how that happened. It did, though. So I don't think I'll be able to put anything in there. So maybe I'll just put a screw in there to kind of make it match, kind of as a dummy. Yeah. I might put a big washer up there and squish it. We'll see. Let's see what I can do. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get a washer. I don't really need that drain anymore. So I'm going to get a washer on top of this and one on bottom. Pinch it, and then I'll put my spacer in and bolt this on that way. Yeah, that'll work out nicely. All right, let's get down to the back and drill those. The hole I was talking about, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can reach through and poke my finger through. Maybe you'll see it there. See that? So that hole right there just happens to line up with that guy. Where is it? Right there. Just lines up on both sides. All right, guys, so let's continue drilling. I have this hole and this hole to drill. Looks like my jack might be in the wrong spot, but I'll go ahead and drill this one. I might be able to get this one. Yeah, I think I can drill that one and that one all at the same time. So I'll go ahead and get these two, and then I'll move the jack over. Alright guys, so I got that attached. Looks pretty nice. It's pretty flush with the bottom of the car. Barely sits below the seat pockets. It does sit below on the rest of it, but I'm not too worried about that because I'm not slamming this thing to the ground while I'm driving. So I think I'm going to have plenty of clearance. In fact, it's not even sitting lower than the beam, so I should be okay. I still need to remove it and notch for that little section up there, but it's up there. I'm pretty happy with it. So the whole reason why I'm doing this was so I can protect these lines. Okay, so what I have here, which will be on the next video, I have one brake line to go to the rear. I have a clutch line to go to the rear. And let's see, what else do I have? I have gas line, and then I also have an air line to go to the rear. So if I ever want to put bags on the rear, I could do that. But for now, I'm just putting the dump air next to the engine so you don't hear the noise. It kind of gets drowned out by the engine. So that's the plan. That right there is going to go underneath that skid plate. Okay, so this whole thing was to protect those lines. Okay, and I think all said and done, I think I may even put some lights. I don't know, I'm throwing around the idea. I haven't really decided yet or not, but I may put some lights up underneath so that you can actually see them pop through those holes. So yeah, and like I said up here, it is sitting a little bit lower than the beam now, but after I notch it and pull it up, I don't think I'm going to have any issues up there. I think it's actually going to sit lower than the beam, or higher than the beam, I guess, if you want to say. So anyways, got that guy done. Pretty happy with it, guys. Alright guys, thanks for watching another episode of Off Axis Builds. I got that skid plate in there. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Now I just got to pull it off, paint it, and then get those lines ran underneath it. I'm not expecting those to take too long, but I do have to drill some holes up front, drill some holes in the back, run some fittings through the steel, and then bend and attach those lines. Shouldn't take too long, but that'll be on the next video. Remember guys, to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little bell for upcoming notifications. All right, guys? Also, believe this Monday will be the second virtual car show, so check that out on the Monday meetup. It'll be 8 o'clock, so check it out. Remember guys, it's always built, not bought. See you on the next one, guys.